Nikki, what's going on?
Not much. How are you guys?
We're good. We just ate a boatload of barbecue, but we got plenty left if you want to drive to this radio station in Kansas.
I think I would be asleep at kickoff if I ate that now. But I bet it's delicious. Where'd you get it from?
This is from Joe's, and it's awesome. The ribs are awesome.
I was told Joe's is probably better than all of them, and based off of that taste,
it's good. Did you go out for barbecue last night?
I did not. I caught up with Jay Reed and Kime,
cool.
and then I went and transcribed tape because I'm a loser.
As a native North Carolinian, what is your one seed of barbecue, Nikki?
Oh, I actually like Kansas City barbecue over North Carolina barbecue. Am I allowed to say that on the air?
Well, North Carolina
Yeah,
doing
I
all
just
the
did.
vinegar stuff on there.
I know.
love the vinegar.
I don't love the vinegar
I
base.
love it. No.
Yeah.
Carolina pulled pork is my one seed of one seeds, but I like it
You
all.
do that well, yeah. But I haven't had barbecue. I stopped eating red meat and pork a while ago, so I'm like the worst person to ask about this. Man, I sound really lame now. We're just exposing all of my lameness.
Just watching tape and
Before
not
we-
eating
yeah.
ribs.
Good
it's not
Lord.
lameness. Different strokes for different folks, Nick. All right, we're talking
Yeah,
with our friend
exactly.
Nicki Jhabvala from The Athletic. Give her a follow at Nicki Jhabvala, joining us via the Rude Guest Hotline. We got to get down to business. Let's start with Deron Payne. I think we should get some indication what's happening here. He didn't practice all week. Kind of hard to think he's going to play.
Yeah, that would be it. It would be tough to play, and it would be tough to lose him. He's been one of the most consistent players on defense, and there haven't been many. But he's been having a really good season. So it'd be really, really tough to miss him on the interior, especially after losing Dorrance Armstrong. I mean, they didn't have that marquee guy on the edge. He was playing really well on the edge. The bulk of their pressure was coming from the inside. So to lose Deron would be really, really tough going against this offense. But that's kind of been the state of the team this year. All these injuries, and now you got to worry about Matt Gay too. I mean, the special teams had been largely unaffected by these injuries, and now there's a concern there. So yeah, the odds are continue to stack against them.
What happens if Matt Gay if he can't kick? Who's kicking?
Yeah, so they don't have any kickers on the practice squad that they could elevate. So if they don't go with somebody on the roster, like if they don't just have Trust do the kicking, which is not ideal, they could sign somebody, add them to the practice squad, and then elevate them. You could have somebody travel out to KC as a contingency and then sign them. They have until 4 o'clock to do that. They could also keep Matt Gay as questionable and really keep people guessing, and they could wait up until 90 minutes until they have to declare the inactives. So, yeah, not an ideal situation to name your kicker 4 hours before kickoff if it comes to that. But it could also be fine.
Right. I think they seem to be playing the "it's going to be fine" card because do we know? Have they There's some logistics involved in this. If they need a kicker today, I don't know where the kickers are. You know what I mean? That person physically.
They would have a contingency plan, I would imagine, knowing this going in. They don't have a practice squad kicker, so they would have to have a contingency plan. They could pay to fly a guy out to Kansas City, essentially hang around to be contingency. Why they wouldn't just sign him to the practice squad and give him a week on the P squad is odd, but that may also be an indicator of where they think Matt Gay is and whether he'll be available.
And of him getting hurt, Saturday, too, right? It kind of just happened. But when you go into a game as a double-digit underdog, you'd like to be as buttoned up as possible, and that is just a weird subplot.
It's we've seen the Gary Gilberts come in at the last minute and try to, play quarterback, which is obviously, I would think, a lot harder. But I don't know that I've ever seen a kicker just kind of be plucked from the street and, it's 4 hours before kickoff. I mean, we've seen a guy come in, a couple days before, but
Gilbert
4
thing
hours,
was also,
my gosh.
That was also the COVID year, which was super weird. There was just so much going on. This is...
Right.
Yeah. All right. So we got Deron Payne questions and we got kicking questions. Talking with our friend Nicki Jhabvala from The Athletic.
Well, who steps up as Deron can't go? That's the question.
Sheldon Day?
Yeah,
Sheldon has good
I would
games when
imagine
he gets in.
Yeah.
I
Although I mistake
I like
Sheldon,
Sheldon
and
Day.
what you call them all the time for the same person. They look the same on the field.
Sheldon and who?
And Newton.
Well, Newton cut his hair now, though.
Oh, but still,
he cut his hair.
their body type is the same to me.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Listen, they're double-digit dogs for a reason. They got annihilated last week in Dallas for a reason. We asked this question on the phones earlier. How does Washington get a win tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you can only do so much that contains Pat Mahomes. I think you got to sort of pick your poison on this one. They do have more weapons, obviously, more receivers than they've had in the past. But I just feel like the defense has to be more consistent. If they're going to miss tackles and give up these explosives, I mean, they're going to be dead in the first quarter. It's been like that even against, not so great offenses. I think, again, this game will come down to the defense, and then if the offense can avoid turning the ball over, that'd be great. Then they might have a chance. But it's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the D-line now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Holmes, Jacob Martin, Preston Smith, Eddie Goldman, Javon Kinlaw, Johnny Newton. We know that's full go. And then Payne's a question. They've just been wrecked with injuries. One thing Brian and I have talked a lot about is just the lack of blitzing, the lack of forcing pressure or attempting to even. I mean, they're just running 4 D linemen close to 3/4 of the time. I think the numbers are about 70%. Do you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the blitz rate is fairly similar to last season. But, I mean, when you lose, 3 starting defensive ends, you don't know about Duran now this game. I mean, they've been creating the pressure, but then they give up these explosives. And then, it's just been a mess. And they can't control the game. They can't control the tempo on offense because they don't have that steady run game. And they don't have the steady run game because they're often playing from behind. So it's like a vicious cycle. It just, one thing affects the other. It all works together. So, it's been sort of a real problem that the consistency on defense, so, has been my biggest issue. And the fact that they didn't sign sort of a marquee edge rusher, I mean, Von Miller may be a big name, but he knows he's nearing the end of his career. He's actually generated quite a bit number of pressures, but he's not the impact guy that he was before, and he's not on the field long enough to be that impact guy. And then on the second level, Bobby Wagner isn't the same impact guy that he was before. I mean, he's still racking up tackles, but he's not the same player that he was before. So
for sure,
it's been a problem.
Do you think so? Dan Quinn, when he talked to us on Wednesday, I think, or Thursday, whatever it was, said everybody's just got get a little bit better. Don't expect wholesale changes to the scheme or personnel. Then Joe Witt talks the next day and is like, "Yeah, we got to get Jordan McGee out there. We got to get Kay Medrano active." Do you think
does any of this shock you?
No.
Like at this point?
No. He'll
let you know Friday on how it's going to go.
Right. DQ really doesn't provide much information. Like, I think he's genuine in what he says, but he's not going to give you much. Witt and Cliff have been far more forthcoming with opinions. How much different personnel do you think we actually see tonight on the field? Not just on the active roster, but on the field.
I think we could see a change or two on the back end of the defense for sure. Like, I mean, the one I'm kind of looking at is safety. It could be Marshawn at corner. Do they make a change there, move Mikey to the outside and have Jonathan Jones inside? Sure, maybe. I kind of wonder if they give Darnell Savage more time at safety and maybe use Reeves less. I mean, Reeves is their special teams ace. I don't know that he's their starting safety or the guy they want back there. If not, they probably wouldn't have signed Darnell, right? So that's the one I'm kind of looking at. I mean, he hasn't been perfect, but he's made some good plays back there. But as far as scheme stuff, like they said, they've tried to simplify the defense and sort of remove some of those layers of, if this happens in that, but if that happens in that, which I feel like every pro defense has at this point, and I'm a little surprised they have to do that with such a veteran group. But if that helps them play faster and think less, great.
What do you think will be the impact? Getting Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel back is a big deal. How do you think?
Huge.
Yeah, what do you think their impact will be?
I think it's huge. I mean, if you can stretch the field, if you have two guys that defenses have to account for, it helps everybody on the field. It helps the others get open too. You know, if you can just simply play man against the receivers, I mean, there's never going to be anybody open. It makes it very hard. Right. And then they can load the box and put another guy on Mariota and try to stop the run. So that's what's been tough lately is, you know, that's what defenses have been doing while Terry and, you know, Noah Brown have been out. And then, of course, last game with Deebo out as well. So to have two of those guys back is big.
The strength of this team seemed to have been the offense. I mean, the running game. Will Deebo and Terry help that out? Because, as you stated, they can't just crowd the box anymore.
Right. It should. I think you need to, if they're not playing from behind, they should be able to establish a run. They should commit to it fully, you know. I think that's been another big loss for them, too, is, you know, I think losing Austin Eckler and losing Will Harris have been the two biggest losses for them with the injuries. I thought, you know, they didn't come in with Shin, who I thought was pretty good last season. They bring in Will Harris, who had a really good start to this season, then he gets hurt. Then they're having all these issues on the back end. Austin Eckler, you know, he probably didn't anticipate being, you know, the future back at this point in his career, but he was having a really good start this season. And he's so versatile that you have to account for him. And they don't have that now. I think Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt or Bill could maybe develop into that, but he hasn't been that. And so without that consistent run game outside of the quarterback, it makes it easy on defenses to just load it up and then play man on the receivers. So I think Terry and Deebo back in the field helps tremendously. Even if they don't individually put up big numbers, it helps hugely just to have them on the field.
I agree. I love how Brian Schottenheimer last week with the Cowboys tried to act like it was, yeah, you know, we dug deep into the analytics and determined we could play man on the outside against Washington.
Yeah.
The analytics
or he just looked at the roster.
Yeah, they had 4 active wide receivers, and 2 of them are 30-year-old journeymen. Like, it wasn't analytics, dude. I do think that can make a huge difference tonight, having Terry out there, having Deebo out there.
Yeah.
You and I were standing there, and we talked a little after Terry spoke with us on Friday. How frustrated is that guy, man? It just seems like everything has been a dead end for like the last 5-6 months, going back to whenever the holdout started, May or June. I imagine that dude just wants to go for like 175 and 2 touchdowns and tell everybody to shut up.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. It's been a very strange year for him. I mean, you go from the highs of, I think about the game in Detroit. You know, you think about how excited everybody was then, coming off one of the biggest wins in probably this century for the franchise. And
totally.
Then you go into the off season thinking, you know, you're going to have contract talks. They go sour quickly. It turns all kinds of weird. He comes back to less than 2 weeks for the opener, has to ramp up, and then you have 2 quick games. I asked him, I was like, did you go into the season, you know, with any concern about an early season injury in the back of your mind, just knowing the data on that, right? He said no. He said he felt really good. He said the thing that he believes really affected him was having 2 quick games. You know, having the opener on Sunday and then having the Thursday night game in Green Bay, and having those back-to-back after less than 2 weeks of a ramp-up is tough. It's really tough. And now he's kind of going to do it again. You know, he's got a Monday night game, and it's not as quick as a Thursday night, but, you know, it's a short week after this, obviously, when you go to Sunday night. So it'll be interesting these next few weeks. Hopefully he can hold up and, you know, the quad injury doesn't pop up again.
Totally. What did you, last thing for me, Nikki. I saw 48's video that yesterday's the worst, like compelling anyway, like just no close games on an NFL Sunday in decades. What did you make of yesterday's slate? The slate I thought kind of sucked going in.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest slate. I always push back on like it was the worst because they weren't close games. I mean, I don't know. I mainly just wanted to make fun of him for not wearing a clip, like wearing the mic on his sweatshirt. Like I didn't actually watch the video.
There was some compelling games though, man. Dallas getting their ass kicked was great.
Yeah.
Watching the Texans beat the 49ers, that was a damn good game.
Yeah.
I bet on
was
both
happy
of
for
those.
Aaron Glenn.
You just seeing the Ravens beat the Bears. What
did you
depleted?
What did you make of the Ravens beating the Bears like that?
I was honestly shocked. I mean, you look at what the Ravens are working with these days. You think this team has been hit with injuries? I mean, did not have. Yeah, I was shocked. I did not expect that. I was happy for Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields. He opened up a little bit afterward about the week it's been for him, given Woody Johnson's comments at league meetings. That was cool to see.
Yeah.
But they're still the Jets.
They're still the Jets. How bad are the Bengals, dude, to lose to the Jets?
My gosh. I know. I know. I know.
All right, Nikki, we will see you this evening at Arrowhead. Look forward to it.
All right, Nick, be cool.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.